Chucky. Wanna play?
The hell'd you get this thing?
Got it from the cops. It's the actual doll from those murders. I stitched them together.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you. Why
Come
would I
on,
kid you?
Tiffany. I knew you were obsessed, but
I'm not.
Chucky? He's so 80s.
No,
He's
he's
even
not.
scary.
Yes, he is.
Look at him. You look at that punk. You looking at me?
All right, so I was wrong. I thought he'd make an interesting toy. Damian, you want to play?
You know, the Chucky doll has gotten so much press for at least being involved in or around a bunch of murders, right? Even if you didn't believe, wouldn't you like be a little hesitant to hump the doll just in case? You know, you want to get on the doll's good side just in case. There's like no point in pissing them off, right?
It's one thing to insult the doll, but the second one, you physically assault the doll, especially one that looked like it had seen some things. That
Yeah.
doll, I mean, that one looks like it was straight out of a murder scene. I mean, if there was any question, that was it.
Yeah, there's no need to antagonize a doll whether it's alive or not. I mean, you might as well just for, you know, for your own well-being, just be nice to it just in case, right?
The thing has a reputation. You don't want to piss it off, so I think you're right about that. Welcome back. This is episode 158 of the Last Row Podcast. If you're looking for our website, check us out, thelastrowpodcast.com. Follow us on all the social channels, Twitter, X, whatever it's called these days, Facebook, everywhere else, at The Last Row Pod, Instagram. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you're enjoying the show, please leave us a 5-star review. Hit the like button on the YouTube page. Leave some comments on there too. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. I think the guy got off easy actually with just suffocation, right? Well, he got his nose ring or lip ring torn off. That hurts, right?
That was brutal. I can't, of all the deaths, and we'll get into them, like I can see a guy get deleted from the world by a truck, but the ring of the ripping out a piercing, like I couldn't take it. That got me.
But like just the suffocation, no breathing, right? It seems he got off kind of easy for getting pretty, lack of a better term, sexually assaulted by the guy,
Yeah, tear his life into pieces, right? Suffocation, no breathing.
Yeah. Of course, we're talking about Bride of Chucky, the one, the only Bride of Chucky, October 16th, 1998. Drew, what was your relationship with Chucky in 1998? Was it non-existent?
It was not. I wasn't even dating him. I was non-existent. Yeah. There was no relationship. I didn't even know who he was. No, I knew who he was. I was scared of him. When I was younger.
You cared not to know who he was.
I didn't have an interest in it, and I feel at that time it got a lot of buzz. I would say,
especially
this movie,
for our age group too. Like starting with probably young teens and beyond, this movie was kind of geared towards that. I was afraid of Chucky, as I've noted on this podcast many times, and an episode of WCW was when I kind of broke out of that, when Chucky cut a promo on Rick Steiner on an episode of WCW Nitro, promoting the movie for no good reason whatsoever, shameless promotion, and it made me realize how ridiculous the whole thing was. And then the movie came out in October of 98, and then when it was released on VHS, I was able to rent it from my local Laneco grocery store, and that was that. And that was the beginning of a beautiful marriage of me and the Child's Play movies.
I'm definitely going to put a link to the promo that you referenced. There's a YouTube link that I'll put in the show notes for sure, because you sent it to me. We watched it before we did the show.
It's crazy.
Like I knew of it, but I guess I hadn't seen it in a very long time. It is just as ridiculous as you would expect.
Yeah. If you know who Mean Gene Okerlund is, an old school wrestling announcer, commentator, he's just like, he plays it so straight. Who is this dummy? Get this guy out of here.
Oh, my God, who is that?
Yeah. He's playing it so serious. It's so great.
I would say the only downside to this is that they should have had Steiner fight the doll. Like it should have came out and he could have wrestled with the doll.
That's
I think
right.
that would have been pretty awesome. That's the only miss in that whole situation, but it was a great promo.
Maybe they just didn't have the technology to make it look as real. Like he looked great. He looked great in the movie. An upgrade over 3. But maybe maybe now they could do it, right?
Right. Oh yeah, you could definitely do it now.
Yeah.
Like you said, Kenny Omega wrestled like a blow up doll or something.
Yeah. We could get Kenny Omega could wrestle Chucky. I don't know if Rick Steiner could back in 1998. With a runtime of 1 hour and 29 minutes. Just how we like it, under 90 minutes or less.
Is for, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
89.
Perfect. 89.
Yep. Horror/comedy, but this movie is not scary at all. This is a black comedy, Drew, right? You would agree?
I don't think it was scary. I think it was more disturbing with some of the deaths, but it wasn't. It's a
violent
laughs.
It's a violent comedy.
This isn't what you would call a slasher, right? Because slasher implies like peril.
I don't know. I mean, Chucky is a slasher.
He slashes, but I don't know if this is a slasher movie. He can slash
because he's not on the prowl, right?
He wasn't on the prowl. He was just trying to get. Yeah. He was trying to get his necklace back.
He was kind of on the prowl in 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if he was on the prowl during Bride. He had a mission. He was definitely lurking.
This one was more like, I don't know. It's almost like a travel film. Like he's going from point A to point B, and there's a journey. Yeah. It's like Homeward Bound. He's going back to his corpse. It's an
incredible journey. Yeah. Directed by Ronnie Yu. Drew. What's the other Ronnie Yu movie that we did? You know it.
Child's Play 3.
No.
Well, he didn't do that.
If you think about it, it's very stylistically similar.
Was it?
It's in
I Know
horror.
What You Did? One of the I Know What You Dids?
It was Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, Freddy. That's right. I know you brought it up when we talked about this because I think he also did Seed of Chucky too, right?
He did not.
Oh, that was Don Mancini.
I think Mancini directed Seed. I might be wrong about that, but it might be the one he directed.
For some reason, I thought Ronnie Yu did
Ronnie Yu. Nope. Yeah, and stylistically very similar movies.
Yeah, I like
very
this.
Very stylish. A lot of use of like dark blues, and there's hues of blue. I don't know, and comedy abound. I like it.
I thought he did a good job.
I don't know any other Ronnie Yu movies. He didn't do that many after Freddy vs. Jason. So anyway, IMDb said 5.6 out of 10.
Probably about
which
right,
is
but I
probably about right. And I gotta be honest with you, like watching this again for like the 30th time, but I hadn't seen it in a while. This is the first time I was like, this isn't very good. But like I liked it, but it's not good. Shout out to Letterboxd, right?
Yeah.
It's like
you gave it the heart.
Yeah. Like I like it, but I can be honest in this movie. The second half of the movie, I don't know.
It very abruptly ends too, which we'll have to talk about because one of the things we should talk about is how does it rank against those now that we've seen it. I think that's a question we'll have to dive into for sure.
Well, let's just do that now real quick because I was going to bring that up earlier and I forgot. I usually rank Seed last, but like watching this makes me want to watch Seed now because I feel like Seed is maybe a more enjoyable movie now that I'm thinking back on it.
I haven't seen Seed, and what I can tell you is the first time I watched this I've never seen this before all the way through. I've never seen it. And this was the first time I saw it fully like committed to watching it. I watched it, and as I was going through it, I fell asleep in the last 30 minutes because I was really tired. And it wasn't like the movie was bad or anything like that. I just watched it really late at night.
Yeah, we're old. We get it. Yeah.
And I woke up with the kid from Seed, like their kid. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell's going on? I watched it on Tubi TV. I'm like, is this the same movie? Like, what? Because I thought I only had 20 minutes left. It turns out autoplay was on and it started to go into, it was like an hour into Seed of Chucky. And I'm like, he looked like the puppet from Gary Johnston from Team America. And I was like, man, I really want to watch this movie now. So I kind of want to see that.
I think he had a purple shirt on and he's got like pale skin. It kind of looks green, like he looks sick.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was.
And he's got an English accent. Yeah.
But I'll say this: as a non-Child's Play, as a non-Chucky connoisseur, I still think 2 is the best movie. Yeah, but I had the most fun with 3. Like I think 3 is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think I came around better to 3 when we watched that. But yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go 2, 1. Yeah, I think 3 is better than Bride.
It is
2-1-3 Bride.
It's a different kind of movie, though.
2-1-3 Bride Seed, and maybe Seed's up a little bit.
It's just
if I watch Seed again.
it's a different kind of movie. And that's the thing. Like this embraces, like you said, it's like a dark comedy.
Yeah.
It doesn't try to be a slasher film. It's honestly very quippy. And three did it a little bit, but there was still some form of sort of terror in 3.
He's on the hunt. Right? He's on the hunt. You never know where he's going to come around and kill you.
I mean, you could argue he's the main character in this movie. He really is.
Well, yeah, because he's an ancillary character around Annie Barclay in 1 through 3. And yeah, definitely he and Tiffany are the main characters of this movie. And Katherine Heigl and whatever the hell the other dude's name is are kind of the side characters. That's definitely the twist of this movie. And also Curse and Colt are both better than 3, Bride and Seed. But we can rank those later if we ever get to this.
This might be one where they decided to try a new style and it changes everything. So you almost kind of look at it as like a trilogy and then the next set of trilogy or something, like in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think 3 came out 90 or 91. So there's a big gap, 7-year gap. They definitely wanted to go a comedy route. And I think it was a good move because you needed to breathe life into the franchise. You can't just make Child's Play 4 and have it be the same. And then it turns into like Jason or Freddy where it's like you can't differentiate. Aside from the fact that Jason's in Manhattan and he takes it. Like,
that's one thing.
It's the only way to differentiate the Jason movies or whatever.
I swear we're going to do that movie someday.
Yeah.
We need to do that one at Jason X.
We should just do Manhattan, skip all the other ones or just do X.
I just want to see how he takes it over. That's what I want to know.
Just the annex is it, you just got to take it. Anyways, a long way of saying Rotten Tomato 48%.
Probably about right.
Should be about 51. Should be 51.
51.
Okay. Metacritic 48%.
Exactly.
Should be 51.
Now, do you? Let me ask you a question about this. Sorry to derail us yet again, but 48 for Rotten Tomatoes versus a Metacritic. Like, do you hold Rotten Tomatoes to a higher standard than Metacritic? Like, do you think one should be higher than the other?
Rotten Tomatoes sucks. Like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about favorable reviews off of paragraphs. I don't even know how what's a 2 out of 4? Is it a good review or is it a rotten review?
I don't know. I think they have to designate it as fresh or rotten.
Yeah, and then some person, deciding. Is it one person?
I think it's the reviewer that decides it's rotten or fresh.
I gave it a 2 out of 4, but certified fresh.
Well, then it's certified, but they're saying whether they consider it rotten or whatever fresh. It's I guess.
Bullshit. Listen to our earlier episodes. I rail against Rotten Tomatoes. I don't think we should use it as a measuring stick. I think it's bad. I think most movie reviews are bad, but I've stood on that soapbox before. And we'll move on. Letterboxd 3.1 out of 5.
I think I gave it a 3.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm more interested in the user reviews of Letterboxd than I am Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I think three's probably about right. 3.
That's fair. It's fair. After being cut apart by the police, he was cut apart by a fan blade. Come on! You're gonna give this to me, the Chucky guy, and you're gonna have me read this?
I pasted it in, right? Yeah. Ron Burgundy.
Yeah. Killer doll Chucky is resurrected by Tiffany, played by the lovely Jennifer Tilly, an ex-girlfriend of the serial murderer whose soul is inside the toy. Following an argument, Chucky kills Tiffany and transfers her soul into a bride doll. To find the magical amulet that can restore them both to human form, Chucky and Tiffany arrange to be driven to New Jersey. Gotta go to Jersey, by Jesse and Jade, who were unaware. I don't know why I'm reading this weird. Sorry. We're unaware that their cargo is still alive.
I don't know why it got me driven to New Jersey.
You got to drive to New Jersey, if you want to come back to life. You got to go to Jersey.
Aren't they? They're in upstate New York or something, right? Is that what it is? They have New York plates.
I don't know. They could be in Jersey or maybe they're across the border.
I don't know why it's funny to me too. It's he's going to Hackensack, New Jersey.
Go to Hackensack, New Jersey.
Hilarious. Why didn't you go to Tom's River? It's just
Drew. Pop quiz, real quick. What's the heart's name? The heart of what?
Heart of Damballa.
Damballa, you got it.
Yeah, there you go. Magical amulet.
You're paying attention.
The magical amulet. There you go. Taglines. All right, there's 7. I'll rush through them here, but
I like
1.
it.
Here comes the bride. There goes everyone else.
It's cute, but no.
This Halloween, Chucky gets lucky.
I like it.
I kind of like it.
Yep.
And then Chucky gets lucky. I'll skip that one. The honeymoon's gonna be killer.
Not bad. Again, I like these all so far. They're all not bad.
This time, Chucky has a playmate of his own.
Nah, I mean, Chucky Gets Lucky is better.
Yeah. This time, there's more to fear.
I don't like the this time. Do you?
Yeah, I don't like that this time either.
This time.
Chucky found a lover of his own.
Nope.
I like this Halloween, Chucky Gets Lucky.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
For some reason, I don't like this time, but I do like this Halloween.
Yeah, this Halloween. I like
it more. I like more specific. Yeah.
The financials are interesting on this because it had a $25 million budget, which I think when you think about the actual locations in this, there's not a lot. Like they don't really go a lot of places. They're like outside of a house, outside of a restaurant. They're in the van. A lot of the times they go to
trailer,
like a trailer, the motel for a minute. Like there's not really like big set pieces by any means.
Yeah.
So they use the money, and I can tell you, man, I was very impressed with the dolls and the animatronics, especially coming from 1991 and Child's Play 3. They did a great job with how they had the dolls look and emote, and I thought they were fantastic. I thought it was really good.
And shout out to the dudes behind the scenes. I don't know if you ever seen like a behind the scenes look at this, but there's always like at least 7 guys following Chucky around,
like controlling him,
moving different parts of his body on any one scene.
I thought they did a really good job, and they turned it around. So this thing made $50 million, which I think for like a rated R movie like this is pretty good. Like they doubled their money.
You double up, that's not bad at all.
And as you said earlier, I think it really ignited like a reinvigorated maybe this whole franchise.
For a dead franchise to double your money, that's something.
Yeah,
it really is.
Really good.
Yeah.
From a prestigious award standpoint, the Saturn Awards, so it won Best DVD Blu-ray Collection for the Chucky Collection in 2014. That's obviously a later thing. I think that's the one you have that you lent me, which has the cool case.
Yeah.
Looks really cool. It was nominated for Best Horror Film. Jennifer Tilly was nominated for Best Actress for the Saturn Award, and then Don Mancini for Best Writer. But the one that we all care about, is the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Oh, yeah.
So it had one nomination, and it was Best Villain. And let me tell you about some of the shenanigans going on at MTV at this time.
Shenanigans, okay.
So this, and we have to talk about that. Again, I want to do another show. We maybe do live stream. We break down some of these awards from like the 90s. But the winner of this, so there was a co-winner of Best Villain. So Blade came out this same year or whatever, like right around 98, 99. And Steven Dorff won for his character. But he was also tied with, and this is something we would do, where Matt Dillon from There's Something About Mary got the Best Villain.
It's not really a villain, but he is what he isn't.
He's like Dusty Dinkelman. Like, where does he rank on the villain scale? He's like the grandfather of Dusty Dinkelman.
Yeah, so you're comparing a vampire to just a creep.
Yeah,
just
a creep and a bozo.
Creep. Yeah,
exactly. So Chucky didn't win. I would say that Chucky should have won because he's definitely the best villain.
In the youth of America, I guess vampires are sexier. So I guess
that's
true. Chucky's, as they've joked a few times in the movie, he's so 80s, right?
That's true.
That maybe in Seed of Chucky, he could win Best Villain, but on his comeback, it's too soon.
I would have expected he'd do well. So they also, Rose McGowan was nominated for Jawbreaker, and then Jet
I love
Li
Jawbreaker. That's a good movie.
I never saw Jawbreaker.
It's a bad movie, but it's a good movie.
You liked it, but it wasn't good. But you liked it.
That's like a great like Cinemax 2 a.m. on a Saturday movie.
Yeah. And then Lethal Weapon 4, Jet Li as well. So I think Chucky should have won, personally.
Yeah.
So
I get why Steven Dorff won. I have no idea why Matt Dillon's even in this category. Tie winner. How is there a tie on MTV? Just pick a winner. Just pick somebody. It's not like it's legitimate. It's not like they're counting votes.
They have KPMG or Deloitte doing the whatever the certification of the results.
Yeah. Like where's Leslie Nielsen at? So to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Let's talk about the movie, right? So we're 20 minutes in. Hopefully people are fine. What about this movie and the feel of it? So you talk about how it reinvigorated the franchise. How does this feel versus the others to you?
Well, it's definitely, like we said before, it's comedy. This now. There's, it's a little more stylish. There's a creep factor in the first 3, and this one's definitely more stylish, more, I don't know. Like, it felt grimy, but at the same time, it popped as more colorful as well.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I guess it's hard to describe.
No. There was a stylish approach to it versus it looking grimy. Like it had grimy aspects, but
yeah.
You mentioned Jennifer Tilly, and we got to talk about Chucky and Tiffany. So maybe we can structure this episode around the two big relationships. So you've got Chucky and Tiffany, and you got Jesse and Jade. It sounds like, I don't know, it sounds weird.
Nah.
But you get the two big relationships. Let's talk about Chucky and Tiffany. That's why we're here. You know, nobody really cares about Jesse and Jade. I didn't really care about them. In fact, I was rooting for Chucky and Tiffany this whole time.
Of course.
So I thought Jennifer Tilly killed it. Like, I thought she was great. And I saw a piece of trivia, not to bust out tales from IMDb. I need some sound drops for these things. One day when I'm not so lazy, I'll make them. But tales from IMDb here. I saw that, and I don't know if you know this as a Chucky aficionado, but Gina Gershon was considered for the role, and Jennifer Tilly was like the second choice, but then Jennifer Tilly came into this, and I thought it's actually better. Like, I think Gina Gershon's great, but I think Tilly was like perfect for this role.
Yeah, you needed someone to match the cartoonish nature of Brad Dourif's voice, right? And add to the fact, like, to give the doll like this, I don't know, the sexy look, the over the top sexy attitude, kind of a Marilyn Monroe-esque type thing, and that's what you have in Jennifer Tilly. Gina Gershon, I did know this, first of all, and they even brought her in as a side character on an episode of the TV show.
Really? Like
as
a
a nod to that
callback.
Yeah, it was a good role too. It was a good role.
I just thought in general, you're right, like the way that she acted, and I don't know if you feel this, but I got like very much like a Joker and Harley Quinn vibe with them.
She's a murdering scumbag, Drew, but
she's nice.
But she's nice. But she's in love, and that makes it okay, right? So we root for her.
She killed for him.
Yeah, he's a murdering scumbag, and he's an asshole, right? And we laugh at Chucky because he says funny things, but Jennifer Tilly, she murders somebody. It's like, you know what? But you know what? She's in love, so it's okay.
She did it for love. She's because she has the aw shucks thing going on. Yeah. Where Chucky seems like he genuinely loves it. Where I think I said Harley Quinn. It's a very much like a very similar comparison is the way that I would say. But how does one Charles Lee Ray score a girl like Tiffany? Because I don't want to say, look, for murdering scumbags, she seems a little out of his league, unless she's like a worshipping of the serial killer kind of person.
It's not about the looks, Drew. I mean, you can have an imbalance in like ratings of looks. If you're going to get, what would you give Charles Lee Ray on a scale of 1 to 10? Is he like a 6? Is he a 4? Is he a 2?
He's like a 0.
Is he a 0? He's kind of a gangly. I mean, let's not knock Brad Dourif here.
He looks like Lieutenant Dan after like he comes back.
Yeah. To a lot of us, Brad Dourif is just a voice. Like, we don't even know what he looks like. Some people, right? But he's an accomplished actor, and he's a little. I'm not going to say ugly because he's not ugly, but he's unique looking, right? Can we say that?
I'll say Brad Dourif. He doesn't look bad by any means to me. I would say the way to describe him is, and I think his IMDb page is him with like that, like what is it, the Cracker Jack hat or something like that. Yeah, is the way I see it. But where he looks weird is him as Charles Lee Ray, because he looks like Lieutenant Dan, like with the long hair.
The intro of one, the
scumbag look, and they had to make him look scummy.
Yep, and then he played the role also in the TV show as well, for a little bit, flashbacks, and also he has a daughter who's in the later movies and also the TV show, and she looks just like him. But she's by no means, a bad-looking girl at all. I mean, she's very attractive. But, like, he has a unique, I don't know, character-like look to his face. And I get it. Because Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly is like classically, she's like a bombshell type of looking woman. You know what I mean? Like a pinup, if you will.
You said the pinup, like the Marilyn Monroe. Like, I think that's, especially the way they make her look in this movie.
Yeah, in this movie especially, right?
Specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it doesn't matter because, like, these serial killers, when they get together, Drew, the looks don't matter. Is the Joker, the Joker's an ugly man, but Harley Quinn falls in love, right? If you call, you compared her to Harley, you compare Tiffany to Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Who's the Joker? He's a freak with white paint on his face.
I suppose it's a cult of personality type thing versus any type of physical attraction.
Yeah. It's the murder club, right? There's not that many of them that get together, right?
Especially the serial murderers. That's for
serial
sure.
murderers. Yeah,
The Lakeshore Stranglers. You know,
Yes.
there's only one.
Yes.
There's only one Lakeshore Strangler. So yes. I wonder. And they talked a little bit about it. She was his girlfriend. I guess they invented this later. It's sort of like a retcon thing. But you know, how long were they even dating when he was the Lakeshore Strangler? Was she one of many girlfriends, one of many worshipers that he had, or like how serious were they?
I don't know. Well, I don't want to get into the show because the show literally shows a flashback to when they meet, right? I don't
Assume
even
that
want to
doesn't
go,
exist
I don't
for
even
this.
want to go there, right? I'm just going to assume that she maybe finds out that, or she witnesses maybe a strangling of his, right?
Yeah.
And maybe she's like, and he's about to like, you know, you can't let any witness stand, right? But then she goes like, he finds out that she's into it. And then, you know, one thing leads to another. And who is he to resist? Because it's a lonely life out there as a straggler, right?
Especially in the Lakeshore, right?
Yeah, especially in the Lakeshore, right? So, who is he to turn down? You know, a bombshell like Tiffany, who's also into murders. Like, of course, it's a risk on his part. Sure, it's a risk on her part because he could go around and strangle her.
He could strangle her. Right, exactly. What keeps him from strangling her? How
did they sleep at night? The first night they're together and they're laying on the bed after they do the deed, right? Who goes to sleep first?
I think it's him. He falls asleep because
that's a risk.
Strangler.
But that's a risk.
It's
the
true.
First person to fall asleep could be the one to die. Because the other one will just wait. The other one's waiting for you to fall asleep and they're going to kill you.
Yeah. And if she kills him, he can't strangle anymore. So
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe neither of them sleep.
Is he going to jeopardize all that future strangling just for a one night stand?
No. Hell no.
Then she's going to sleep first. He's not going to sleep.
Who was his partner? Who was the guy from the first movie that he was pissed at no matter what? Who was the guy?
Jeez. Oh, I love
Not
the name.
Cop, the other guy.
No. I love the name, but now it's blanking me, and now I feel like a bad fan. Joey, is it Joey Caputo?
Eddie Caputo.
Eddie Caputo.
No matter what.
No matter what. That freaking
I kept thinking about
spineless. He drove away. He drove the getaway car away. Is spineless.
He left him.
High and dry.
But I think it's what I think about. You mentioned as someone who doesn't know the show, right? I don't know the show. I don't know that other stuff, and I agree. Let's leave it out of this. But I like to imagine that she fangirled over him, and it was sort of like somebody that knew that he was the Strangler, and she sought him out. That's how I imagine my head.
Like she figured it out before the cops did, but she was like, she wanted to meet him.
Do you think that he taught her voodoo because she had the Voodoo for Dummies book, and and can you effectively do voodoo?
No, I think the voodoo was a thing he was doing on his own. She was not involved in the voodoo, and then after he died, then she was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to voodoo him back to life because maybe this is possible. I think she didn't have very many voodoo experiences. Makes me think that she should not have been able to resuscitate him because she doesn't believe. Like
That's what I was wondering.
She does not have, excuse the pun, no pun intended. She doesn't have her heart set on Damballa. Like you have to worship Damballa for him to bless you with the soul transformations.
Is that why they needed the amulet?
Yeah. Charles Lee Ray put in time to worship Damballa in order to have the voodoo work for him.
Yeah. Yeah, the painting in that guy's house and all that stuff, right? Yeah. All the artifacts and things.
And the amulet, which I believe was just introduced in this movie as like I don't know. Maybe I'm using this wrong. Is that a MacGuffin? What's a MacGuffin?
No, a MacGuffin. Is
that the word?
No, you're right. A MacGuffin is a work of fiction that drives the plot and motivates the characters, being insignificant to the story.
Yeah. It's like it was a reason for them to go find his body. Like, oh, we got to get my amulet, right? Even though he didn't need the amulet in 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah, because that was going to be my question. Like, why did he need the amulet? Like, if they had the book, and he didn't need it before because he was trying to get into Andy Barclay's body. I think it didn't make any sense.
It's a thing to make the story go because he didn't need it for Andy, but I don't know. Maybe there's different rules for Andy because he's a kid. I don't know. I don't buy it.
Yeah, maybe the older the body that you're trying to go into.
Yeah.
And we've said this before on the other episodes. Like, I don't think you want to go into a kid. You're gonna have to go to school.
Yeah, you don't want to go to school. Yeah. But
you're gonna have to do a lot of things again.
We were going to talk about this later, but I might as well. Since you mentioned it, do you really want to go into those two guys' bodies?
No,
Right?
I don't.
Even though they're the good-looking young couple, but now that they're wanted for murder because of Chucky and Tiffany,
yeah, because of them,
they're going into bodies of wanted criminals, so they're automatically on the run. The benefit of going into human bodies is to start from scratch and be inconspicuous. So you can start your new murder spree, and keep it on the down low as long as you can, but not if you already transform into criminals.
But is it also like living on the edge for them, where they kind of like, or at least
maybe
Chucky might like the idea of being wanted?
Maybe they don't care. Yeah.
Because he's been wanted for how long as the Lakeshore Strangler? Maybe he like upsets him to be an unknown of somebody. It's like, don't you know who I am? I'm the Lakeshore Strangler. I put a lot of time into this.
He wants to be infamous. Yeah.
He does. And I think you're right. I don't think that Tiffany would have been able to do the spell. And I think she was even surprised to see that it worked. And I thought it was funny, like as you heard in the intro, the whole Damian thing. I just thought that was a weird character, and the way that it was, they portrayed them. It was Alexis Arquette, I think sibling of David Arquette. Shout out to the Arquette connection. I saw this too, and I don't know if you feel this way, but and you probably knew this, but they said the way that they dressed him was specifically like a nod to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I thought that immediately the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, that was like Marilyn Manson.
So it's like, but apparently Marilyn Manson was considered for the role, but he turned it down. And like, I get it. I don't think he's going to do that role, especially in 1998 when he's probably peak fame.
Yeah, he's not going to be in this movie and just be killed and look weak, right?
But is it weird that they made him, like if you're Marilyn Manson, you turn that role down, they make the guy look exactly like you.
Yeah.
Is that like a thing?
That's flattery. No, I don't think I think he was probably flattered by it. I don't think
maybe in a horror movie it's a nod.
Yeah.
It's an homage.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And was Damian gonna get lucky there with Tiffany, or do you think that was it no matter what?
No, he was dead. If Chucky didn't come back to life to kill him, then I think Tiffany was going to do it.
And what does a threesome look like? Because it was heavily implied that she wanted the doll in the threesome. Did she know that he was alive at that point? And what does the threesome look like with the doll?
Oh yeah, she knew because he moved off the pentagram.
That's true.
So she knew. But I mean, what if Chucky was like into it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Would she have to like stop him? Because
I think she would.
But let's be honest, Chucky's not a very progressive guy.
No, he's not.
I don't think he's into gay stuff.
No, I don't think he was. He was definitely not into that. He's very much not into that.
Yeah, he is not. I think he would be very much opposed to that. He's a bad guy. Remember, he's a bad guy.
What do you think about their relationship in general? I mean, we don't have to deep dive into it, but do you think that they had a good relationship? Like, she's clearly worshiping him, I guess, is really what they
toxic
were doing.
Relationship. Toxic. I mean, he laughed at her when she thought that he proposed.
Yeah. I mean, he literally murdered her.
I pulled that ring off the lady I threw in the river. It's worth about $6,000, you know? And she was holding on to it like it was her wedding ring, you know?
It's such a thing that a scumbag would say to her.
To her credit, though, I mean, she did have the jail set up, like she did have a plan B in case things went wrong,
and that was on purpose, right? Because he said, "Oh, what's this for?" She's like, "Oh, it's for the kids." Like she wanted to have kids. She was implying that, but I thought she's the only one, at least up into the fourth movie here, that has actually imprisoned him, like but in any effective way.
Can we be honest though? Like he was clearly going to break out of that thing.
Yeah, he was, but I mean, she stopped him for a minute. Like nobody else has done that really before.
I mean, could he have broken out of there had she not messed up and given him the chisel in the ring for him to chisel out of there?
The wood and all.
I feel like,
didn't you tell me he has superhuman strength or something?
He should. He doesn't. He kind of does sometimes. But I feel like enough rams and he would have got that wood out.
That's and doesn't he? Like, I think you said this too. He becomes more human over time, but he also becomes stronger over time. So enough time, and he would have busted out.
I mean, they did lift that body of John Ritter into the trunk there. So.
Yeah. She could have used like a dog cage, like a metal dog cage.
Yeah, exactly. So
then it wouldn't have been harder to hide, I guess.
But like, imagine, okay, there's a killer doll in your living space. And it's just separated by some wooden bars. How do you sleep at night?
I mean, how do you comfortably take a bath?
Yeah, how do you take a
TV?
bubble bath, keep your eyes off of this killer thing that can creep up on you? It's just a bad move by her.
But maybe she also thought, like, there's no way he's going to kill me.
Oh,
he loves me.
She knows him, though.
But is he gonna strangle her? I mean, I don't. Maybe he would. Maybe he wouldn't. She was upset, but I thought maybe she felt like she underestimated him.
We've talked about this, but it is funny how for the Lakeshore Strangler, he does a lot of stabbing.
He does.
He went straight for the knife. You know?
She even calls him out on it, right?
How many people did he strangle in all these movies? Like maybe
I think
two?
only one. It was like the cop in that car that one time.
Yeah, the car, but that was more of a suffocation. That was more of a suffocation.
Oh, yeah. What was the toy guy? Wasn't the toy guy?
The toy guy. No, the toy guy was a suffocation.
Okay.
He tried to strangle the cop, but was unsuccessul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs his human form for strangulation.
Should be
he can't do it as a doll.
The Lakeshore Stabber.
Yeah. But I think he needs his human form to do the actual strangulations.
I guess it's harder. It's harder to strangle when you got to climb up the body. He's got to be cutting Achilles.
I was wondering too about him. So you talk about him killing her. Let's talk about him transferring Tiffany into the doll. So she made up this doll or whatever and all these things. And then she's taking a bubble bath, watching TV and all this stuff. It's sort of like a Truman Show situation.
Yeah.
I could tell you, even if there wasn't a killer doll on the loose, wouldn't you think like, hey, what if this TV fell into this bathtub while I'm laying here?
A little too close.
It was a little too close for that, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I would be comfortable.
And I was impressed with how long the TV kept playing too while it was underwater. Like most TVs would immediately short. But how long did she have to get transferred into the doll? Because if I'm remembering the first movie, I don't remember the second one, but the first one, he was transferring his soul as he was dying. I mean, she was, how long was she getting electrocuted?
She was dying, I think. If you start the process, it's like you know how you in basketball if you shoot and the buzzer goes off, like the basket's good if as long as the ball's in the air, as long as the ball's in the air, right? I think as long as you start the voodoo while the body's alive, like you have all the time in the world to finish it.
I think that's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he did a good job of getting it done quickly.
He knew what he wanted to do. Yeah, he had a plan.
Knew. And do you think that was his plan all along? So he was always going to transfer to that doll?
He drugged the doll with him, like with the knife. Like he brought the doll. He was going to do that was the plan, of course.
I want to talk more about their plan too as a couple before we get to Jesse and Jade. But you mentioned the Heart of Damballa and them trying to get into those bodies. We talked a little bit about it, but I don't know. There was a few things that stood out to me. The one was him realizing that he had the heart. And I get it. It's like a MacGuffin. But do you think it was odd that they showed a dead serial killer on like the front page of the news? And it wasn't like a little picture. It was like the full page spread of like his dead corpse.
But maybe that's like, he was terrorizing a community. And maybe it's, look, we got him.
Get some relief.
We got his ass, right? It's like they show a dead Saddam Hussein. It's like, mission accomplished. They didn't
put his body on the cover of like,
but they should have.
The newspaper.
They should have, right?
Like Bin Laden or something.
Would you have been disgusted seeing a dead Saddam Hussein?
I think it would ruffle feathers, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I guess, but like I
would ruffle some feathers.
USA.
What about the other thing that I thought too is like, again, a random observation, but when they finally did make it to the cemetery, there's like this one guy digging up his corpse just randomly in the cemetery.
No cops.
It's like the guy that had no protection.
Where
no
are the cops at?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why I would do that.
It's a rough job, man.
The biggest topic that I want to talk to you about is he was buried like in a nice suit. They showed the picture of his corpse, right? He's got this nice suit. He's got the Heart of Damballa. They allow him to wear his magical amulet and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are around this, but do serial killers get a nice burial? And if they do, should they?
I feel like it depends on the family. Like, what if he has a nice mother? Like, he's still somebody's son, right?
He is, but he's like a mass murderer. Like,
yeah.
And if you put him at some cemetery in Hackensack, New Jersey, are you going to get the crazies that like worship him and go to his gravesite as sort of like it's almost like a destination, right? It's like, I'm going to go to see the Lakeshore Strangler's grave.
I feel like there was a lot of Damballa worshippers that would have loved to visit his grave, right?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Or what if somebody went to steal the artifact, dig his grave up just to see if like he has it on him?
I feel like he only gets a proper burial if his family was motivated to do so and also has money. You know, they're worth something. They have a good lawyer, right?
That's true.
Which I don't think he had.
No, I just assume that he died like, I don't know, as some would say, he died like a dog in that toy store there, and as he probably deserved because he's a scumbag murderer. And I would always assume that they would throw these guys in like a crematorium or something and just like scatter their ashes in like an unmarked location. Yeah,
put them in an oven. Maybe make like urinal cakes out of their ashes, right? Like, what's the most disrespectful thing you could do?
Put that into the victims' like families' houses, like pee on the graves. That's for sure. What about their plan too? Because we already talked about why they needed the heart, why they didn't. It's like a MacGuffin. I think that's a good call by you. But what do you think about them? You know, Tiff's obviously in the doll now too, against her will, but they want to go back into human bodies. Like he put her into a doll just to want her to go back into a human body, and like I guess it was like an FU to her.
It was because she has to help him because she needs to help herself.
Right, she has to help herself.
Yeah,
but. Would you rather stay and forget the next movies and the set of movies if they make a decision or something to say, hey, it's better to be a doll, but put yourself in the mind of a Charles Lee Ray. He wants to get back into a human because I guess you yearn to be human.
Sure.
But if he likes strangling people and murdering people, don't you think there's like pros and cons? And I think the pros to staying in the doll sort of outweigh the cons, don't you think?
I feel like you could murder people forever if you're the doll, right?
Yeah, because no one's going to believe you.
Yeah. And if one person believes you or sees you, no one's going to believe that person, as we've seen. So
multiple times.
Just keep killing people, right? If that's what gets you going, if that's what wakes you up in the morning, right? Why ever go back? But maybe there's I guess there are certain comforts, right? You got to be human. You can't just be a doll.
You got to be,
You got to try, right?
I don't know why. I think about when we used to play plot fiction. There was like a movie that you wrote up. It was a real movie. I think it was called like Being Human. And I always think about that all the time. I don't know why. But I think, isn't that doll essentially invincible? And is it easier to do a soul transfer from doll to doll than human to doll and human to human?
Well, he's not invincible though, because the more he stays in the body, the more human he becomes.
True.
As we saw through him and Tiffany in this movie. But, I mean, there's a certain invincibility in why would someone harm a doll, right? He fell into the blades, right? And he, made it be so, but it's not exactly easy to get rid of this guy, right? So, yeah, you just, you lay low, you turn into doll mode, and you get your kills.
You said that the more he stays in the doll, the more human he becomes. Is that only inwardly? Because, or does he look like a little person then? Like, does he continue to turn? Like, well, he'll never turn to real skin. It's only internal organs.
It's a good question, but we saw it happen, I think, mostly in one.
Right.
Where he really started to age. Like, he started to get the receding hairline. Really, like, he started to bleed more. He just, in his face, like, he'd get bags under his eyes. Like, he really started to age. And they kind of got rid of that in the second and third one. No, I think it's outwardly and inwardly for sure.
So you're saying that you would stay, you wouldn't stay as a doll if you were them. You get to turn back into a human.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
you have to. You yearn to be human.
If you are human, I mean, you could say he's not human. He you know what I mean by not human, but it's I get the point. And I mean, hey, they were still doing the deed, so it didn't really matter. Yeah. They were doing that, and we saw where that ended up. So let's talk about, I think one of our famous clips on this show is like, God, I don't want to talk about these people. I've things to do than to talk about these people.
We don't have to talk about these people.
I don't really want to talk about Jesse and Jade too much. And I feel bad because I'll say this, right? I just could not stand Jade this whole movie. And I don't know if that's like a Katherine Heigl thing. I don't really like her in movies. And it's nothing against her personally. I don't know her, obviously. I just don't like her in movies. And I think I saw that Julia Stiles almost got the part, but she did 10 Things I Hate About You instead. I wonder if that was a good choice or not, but I just did not like the character of Jade at all.
Yeah. It was a whine. If the word whinily is a word.
Yeah.
Whinily written character, right? Real wet blanket. Dude is not dumbest guy of all time. The gay friend was the gayest friend of all time.
Yeah. He really was.
they were. I don't know. That's what really got me this time with watching this movie was just it was really clear to me how bad the human characters of this movie are.
They were annoying as hell. Like
even John Ritter and the cop, like they were annoyingly bad cops. Like I hated everyone.
Do you think that Jade actually even liked Jesse, or was it more like a trying to get back at her uncle kind of thing? Because in the beginning, they portrayed Jesse as like this sort of jerk. But I think once you saw him helping out Jennifer Tilly, he actually seemed like not so bad of a guy.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice guy, but I got to be honest, Drew. This is the first time I thought about it.
I know where you're going with this.
I'm kind of on the side of John Ritter, right? The cop, the uncle cop.
Me too.
This dude is like 27 years old, right? Yeah. And she's in high school. He's protecting her.
Yes. He's
being a dick about it, yeah. And yeah, he's probably a nice guy, but can we call the guy a predator? He's an adult living in a trailer home. Neighbors with a serial killer, right? Whether we know it or not, that's the truth.
Yeah.
And this girl's in high school to go to prom. Like, he shouldn't be dating her.
So what's the cutoff for you? Let's say she is 18. Like, is there a 1 year difference? Like, do you have to be dating together before you have it? Like, if you start dating a senior in high school as someone who is not in high school, isn't that creepy?
It's one thing if he was a senior and she was a junior, like
pre-established relationship,
and then he graduated, and then she's now a senior at 17/18, and he's 18/19. But I don't know. He's living on his own in that trailer. I don't know what he does for a job, but his face looks like he's 23 years old. It makes me think that when he graduated, that was his girlfriend, and she was like a junior high. That's what I get the feeling.
Creepy.
It creeps me out.
It was creepy. I also feel like she didn't even really like him that much. I feel like I don't think she appreciated him. I don't know. I just didn't really. I felt like a get back at my Uncle John Ritter kind of thing.
Yeah. All they had to do was establish that the kid was still a high schooler, and that could have been done in 2 seconds, and they didn't do that. Made me think that his guy was 24 years old.
But maybe they want you to take Chucky and Jennifer Tilly's side. Maybe that's
Tiff.
by design. They make them sort of annoying on purpose because it's like we can't make them seem like the good guys because they didn't seem like the good guys.
You can kind of have the argument in your head which couple's worse, right?
Right.
The killers or the whiny teenagers or whoever they are.
And I part of me thinks that was by design. And I mean, I agree with you. Like Jesse didn't seem like a bad dude in terms of like, should she like him or not? I do think it was creepy. I mean, I think that his van brought a lot to the table there because he got sweet transportation. He's got a place to hang out. They can go camping and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But what did you think of John Ritter's policing though? He absolutely abused his power for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's having his own lackey to follow them around, planting the drugs. But my question is, why did he have to plant the drugs? Like, can't the cop just like pull the bag of weed out and go, "Hey, look what I found"?
Yeah.
Like he didn't. Like nobody saw him grab the drugs out of the van. Like he could just pull it out of his pocket and say, "Hey, I found this in your van."
Does planting it make it more like he's at more risk because someone could see him planting it versus like
exactly? Yeah, right.
I agree with you.
You'd rather just pull it out of your pocket and say, "Hey, I found this in your van." No, you liar, bullshit. But like, who are you gonna believe?
They can't do anything. I mean, that's what he said, right? Is who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe me or are you going to believe you? And he's the chief of police or whatever. Yeah. And
she hit him and she punched him in the face.
She did.
Like in front of a crowd. I feel like you got to arrest her.
You definitely do. But I mean, his car blew up, so he couldn't do it. But he should have. Yeah. He should have. And honestly, the other thing I was thinking about too was talk about how dumb these people were. John Ritter got murdered and stuffed in the seat. Like, how long can you drive around with a dead body in your car before you start to smell it or you notice it?
I mean, 24 hours. The first couple hours, you're not going to smell it.
I mean,
you might smell the blood. The blood has a smell to it, but it's not rotting. It's not rotting.
I mean, how traumatic is that? You see your uncle in the back of the car with nails in his face.
Yeah, well, if you don't like him, I don't know.
What did you think of their decision to get married too? Like, how in love were they? So you talk about Chucky and Tiffany being in a relationship. Tell me about this.
Was that not the saddest wedding of all time?
Who
was that pastor? That pastor was so depressing. It makes me not want to get married.
It reminded me of, you remember Chuck and Larry. It's like they
Yeah.
with Rob Schneider.
The
like
circle?
you go to like
it's
the
like love is like a circle.
you go to sort of fly by the night of operation place, like or Las Vegas or something like that. Like we just watched Vegas Vacation, but I just thought that was funny where they go to this random place. He says he has $500 and he's going to be able to make a bank account so he can put
my
a
God.
deposit on an apartment. I mean,
That was
come
the
on.
funniest line of the movie. Well, come with me. I have money. I have $500 and I'm going to get 500 more. It's like
Man,
that's,
I
you sure,
feel
dude.
Bad for this dude.
That's not 1 month of rent.
How long do you give this marriage? Like, assuming there was no murder involved and they actually just eloped.
Oh, jeez. She will divorce him before she finishes college.
1,000,000%. I don't even know that I give her more than a month. Like,
she'll find someone in school that's better at him than in everything.
And you know how I know that? Because the second the shit started going down, she was thinking he did it.
Yeah.
And
they
was
turned
thinking
on each
she did
other
it.
so quick.
I'll say this. I think he had more of a reason to think it was her
Yeah.
than she had to think it was him, because it was her uncle and she hated him and she was outwardly like trying to actively do stuff against him.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have made more sense for her to be the murderer than him.
She's 17 years old. She doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know what an actual good man is. You know, she's going to be bored intellectually by him within a year.
And he didn't know what a good girl was either. Like, he didn't know whether he should even be with her. And I just feel like there's no way. And I tell you, man, before we recorded this, I was getting such parallels to Ryan Dunn and Tenley Parrish from Summer Catch, a throwback to one of our old episodes.
Yeah.
I felt like, Chief, what's his name? Chief Kincaid reminded me a lot of Rand Parrish there.
Rand Parrish. Let's be together.
Bad acting, all of it, right? It's just the annoying nature of them. Ryan Dunn being a successful lawn care business person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Hey, at least he was cutting
me
lawns.
a lot of that.
This Jesse guy is not cutting anybody's lawn.
What does he even do?
He's a doll delivery boy. That's all he's done.
In Hackensack, New Jersey, to a cemetery.
Yeah.
I just thought it was weird. And I don't know what to say about their friend, but I did think it was super stereotypical to like make him the guy. The second you found out that he's gay, it's like, oh, he puts an earring in and all that other stuff. I thought that was like, it was very on the nose, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So who do you give a better relationship score to in terms of like a loving, connected relationship? Chucky and Tiffany or Jesse and Jade?
Well, Chucky and Tiffany, because they're both adults. They both know what they like, and they have more of a history together.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiffany might be more love struck and yearning to change a man who can't be changed in Chucky, but they're always going to be together.
She knows what she wants.
Even when they hate each other, they love each other.
Yeah.
And he knows he'll never do better.
Let's talk about Jesse and Jade sort of being on the run and being framed for the murders, because this is sort of like a key aspect that we talk about a lot in these. It's like, who's going to believe you now? That situation. There was all the stuff, like the car exploded. They had evidence planting on. There was fingerprints from Charles Lee Ray. And I guess that's the MacGuffin to get him exhumed so you can get the heart of Nimbala and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But the key question for this is, because nobody's going to believe you, do you try to do what Tiffany did and trap the dolls, or do you try to kill them? Like, how do you try to capture them?
Well, it's hard to capture them without killing them, because like, your life is on the line, right?
Right. It's like going after a caged animal or like a tiger. You're going to trap the tiger, or you're going to kill it?
You don't want to kill the tiger, but you might have to. It's
Right.
either because like in trying to evade it, it's either kill or be killed. But no, if you kill the dolls, then you are on the hook for those murders. So I guess it's like, would you rather be alive and be falsely accused of murder, or would you rather die trying to capture these killer dolls?
I think I would take the latter. I don't know, because if you're dead, even if you're alive in that scenario, because you're in jail forever.
To me, there's nothing worse, nothing more scary than being convicted of a crime that I didn't commit. Imagine rotting in jail for something you didn't do. That's scary. And
It is scary.
There's probably hundreds of people that are going through that right now.
Absolutely. And I think, the cop even says it. He's like, oh, you're never going to believe this.
Yeah.
And the dolls and all that other stuff. And I just feel like we saw it with Andy. Like, they sent him to an institution and then he goes to military school.
Oh,
like,
man, this poor guy's life screwed up.
And I know that there was the big cover up in the last couple of movies about the doll and stuff, but don't you think it's happened enough that somebody would know? It's not like Aliens where there's a reason to suppress this. Like,
Yeah.
who's actually suppressing the fact that this is happening? I mean, there's killer dolls on the loose, and I don't know. It seemed like it was almost going to come out at the end of this one, where it's like
Yeah.
that cop actually did believe them. He was there. He told him to go home, which that would never happen.
That would, just
But-
going home, kids.
I thought that was weird to me. So I don't know, and I just feel like it was interesting that I don't know if they try to capture him, because that's probably what I would try to do. But you're right, it's pretty hard to do.
I think your first instinct is to get away from them and not capture them.
I
You
don't
got
know
to be
where
certain level of brave, which I don't know either of us are.
No, I don't have the bravery for that. Like, I like to think about it as I'm sitting here talking into a microphone.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what I would have done.
Yeah.
But of course, when push comes to shove, I would be running out the thing and we'll be looking for the hand grenade from Chucky 3.
Yep.
I don't know where to say this. We could talk about it. I want to talk, before we get out of here, just talk about the deaths and murders. It's obviously a little bit different type of movie, but I just think we need to touch on the fact that Tiffany has a baby in the end, and that sends you into the next film, I guess. Just like Charles Lee Ray aged quickly. I guess her pregnancy was quick too.
Yeah.
Was that like a big deal when that happened? When you saw that, was like people going nuts?
It was a shock for sure. Yeah. But I guess they kind of changed it a little bit in Seed, because in Seed it's a doll.
Yeah.
And in this, it looked more like a monstrous human, I suppose.
Yeah. It was weird. And what did you think of her change of heart, where she sort of like helped out the couple because she felt like
I think it made
they
sense.
should live?
Because the whole movie, I guess we're kind of rooting for Tiffany, I suppose. So I guess it's nice to have that payoff in the end, that she's, has a change of heart.
From an overall death standpoint, I went on the Dead Meat wiki, and there's a kill count, and there's 14 total deaths. I think there's some where there's a couple found bodies and stuff, but
Yeah.
do you think this movie ratcheted up the brutality compared to some of the other ones?
Yeah.
What's the worst death?
Yeah, the other ones, either the deaths happened off screen, or I don't know. 3 was the first one where they were a little bit more brutal on screen, but this one they certainly ratcheted up. More like fantastical style deaths, and it only continues from there. In Seed and Cult and Curse, the deaths are much more crazy, increasingly crazy. So I don't know if I count the semi truck as a Chucky kill.
He got deleted. That guy.
Yeah,
Got deleted from life.
but I suppose we're debating between the impaled couple and John Ritter with the nails and the stabbing. Right.
You talking about the impaled couple, like the mirror that fell on the people?
Yeah, the honeymoon.
That was brutal.
The honeymoon couple. Yeah.
They deserved it, though. Can I say that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they didn't deserve that, but
Thieves deserve getting stabbed to death by mirrors. I don't know. He stole $500.
They took his
I don't even think
$500.
that's a felony. What's a felony? Is it $300?
I don't know. They took his $500, but
Yeah,
how do you know it was
they
his?
took
It's not like
they
they
took
stole
his-
from his bank account.
Delivery boy money.
He had cash that was probably illegally obtained as well.
Yeah,
It's blood money.
but definitely the John Ritter nails to the face, which didn't kill him, but it pretty much killed him.
A pretty bad death, though, a quick death, was the incineration of the other deputy cop, where he just got obliterated in the car when he put essentially a Molotov cocktail the gas tank.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad too. But I thought it was interesting the way they wrote the Tiffany thing. This is like a Vigo the Carpathian thing. Burnt, beaten, stabbed, and died in childbirth. Just before her head died, she, died at the foot of the door.
I always remembered the line, and I thought it was such a mean line where Chucky goes, "Get off my knife."
Yeah, that was
After he
pretty
stabs her.
ridiculous.
So cold blooded.
I think Chief Kincaid was pretty bad, and then he got brutally stabbed in the back. But yeah, this definitely was pretty brutal. But overall, like, I'll say I enjoyed it, but I agree with you in that I don't think it's as good as the other ones, and I can see why maybe you didn't find it as enjoyable as you did in the past. Like I said, this is the first time I've actually seen this straight through, and I definitely enjoyed it. But I would say the back half definitely dragged, and then it just abruptly ends, which is kind of odd too.
Yeah, and I think it's the back half, and it's really like when they enter the RV. It's kind of where I'm like, all right, this is not very good, and then it just ends. But that's, you still have an hour of a decent movie, of a good movie, of a good Chucky movie. But I feel like, yeah, once they get in the RV and then the arguments start, and then it quickly turns into Chucky and Tiffany turning on each other. Accident, all of a sudden they're at the cemetery, and then it's over.
Yeah, I think the back half is definitely the weakest, and I feel like we said before, I think that Jesse Jade, I don't think the actors were very good, and I don't think that the characters were written well. But but again, maybe that was by design, just so that you're not really rooting for them.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think that didn't really help the movie either. But overall, like, I'm glad we watched it, and I it's funny, like when Seed came on when I woke up, it's like, yeah, I think I kind of want to watch this sometime. Yep. So it was enjoyable, and you got me into the series, which I probably would not have watched had we not done it for these shows.
You got to keep going. So
it's been good. So I don't know. I'm curious what everybody else thinks about it, and if you guys enjoyed this movie, let us know what you think. thelastRowPodcast@gmail.com. Leave a comment on the YouTube episode. Leave a comment on the website, thelastRowPodcast.com. Leave a comment on the Instagram page too. We're at The Last Row Pod on there, and X, and wherever you get your podcasts. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Definitely subscribe to us on YouTube. We're in the middle of... Are we smack dab in the middle? No, that we're crossing the hump of the Summer of Sequels Part 2, Heatwave.
Heatwave.
We have our next episode coming out on August 15th, Lethal Weapon 2, followed by Wayne's World 2, Final Destination 2, and then closing it out with some Chev Chelios action on Crank High Voltage. Check out all of the posts for the rest of the Summer of Sequels schedule. I'm having fun with this, I will say. I like having the sequel schedule. Hopefully others are enjoying it too. So...
Good sequels. We get to learn about diplomatic immunity next episode.
I'm looking forward to this one. I haven't seen Lethal Weapon 2 in a very long time. So hopefully you guys are along for the ride here. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks on August 15th.
Zoo.
I was expecting them to show more of the love scene. Like, I saw Jennifer Tilly said it was improvised, but I guess they're not going to show like a Team America situation back in 1998.
It's not going to.
The world wasn't ready.
Yeah, even though it was before that, they were pioneers.
Right.
They decided to go classy with the shadows.
The world wasn't ready for it.
No.
Do they show it in any others later? Did they do it?
No. I don't think so.
They don't need to.
They show